It was also the first Sentai series to be filmed in HD.
Wrong!
Samurai Ha-Oh is the first mech to appear.
Wrong!
I could get behind Samurai Ha-Oh.
Wrong!
A fence for a horse to jump over.
Wrong!
Nuh-uh! Okay, watch that movie on a big screen TV at 1080p. You will see that is most definitely a CGI fence. I am going to defend that one. The Goseigers even show up for a scene previewing what my next Super Sentai review is not going to be.
Wrong! You suck at this.
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Yep, my bad. I kinda made some mistakes in my Shinkenger review. Oops. Well, if I ever have to redo that review, some of it because of like YouTube stuff, maybe I'll fix those mistakes. Well, just the Shinkenger. I'm telling you, that fence is CGI. But anyway, what am I reviewing? This is Halloween month, right? Yeah. So why am I reviewing Tensou Sentai Goseiger? Well, it's actually quite scary at how meh this series is. With Shinkenger nearing its climax and Kamen Rider Decade done, which meant the promotional tie-in to a Kamen Rider card arcade game was at an end, Toei and Bandai decided it was time for a new cross-promotional series, this time with Sentai. The game was called Super Sentai Battle Dice-O, while the TV series was Tensou Sentai Goseiger. Dice-O featured several ranger teams people could access by obtaining various cards they would scan into the machine to use in their game, while the Goseigers would utilize cards in the series that would give them special abilities and weapons. It was the smartest idea ever. But did it work? Given that Dice-O went on for several more years after Goseiger ended, I'm gonna say yes. It did work out pretty well. However, this review is not about Dice-O, nor how it ties into Goseiger. This review is strictly for Goseiger, and therefore that is all I'm going to cover from this point forward. The heroes. The Goseigers are a group of angels tasked to protect the world from...
でもお姉ちゃんたちは星を守る資格をもらう前の見習い五星天使そんな感じ
Guardian angels in training? You mean they're as qualified to protect the planet as Chibi-Usa? Oh god, we're f***ed. At the start of the series, one of the villains destroys a tower that connects our world to the world of the angels, stranding our team of clearances on Earth. This forces each tribe in having to work together in order to defend the world while the tower is rebuilt, which seems to be an extraneous task as no tribe of angels has apparently ever worked together before. The trio of tribes are the Skyx, Seax, and Landix. As you can probably guess, air, water, earth. All you need is fire and heart and you can form Captain Planet.
How about no?
The Sky tribe is made up of both Alata and Eri. Alata, played by Yudai Chiba, loves to help anyone in need even if it requires using his abilities despite it being against Gosei World's rules. Such as saving babies from terrible parents. How did you not see your child going down the stairs? Ugh! Part of this stems from his act now, think later personality that will often get him into trouble, such as the time when he just randomly used an attack that should have killed this poor dude. Not that anyone cares, because they were too busy scolding Alata than making sure this dude was alright. Rika Soto's Eri always likes to see the bright side of a situation, constantly ignoring the negative, which can drive her teammates nuts. She can be quite airheaded, finding herself unable to make a solid decision at times. Oh, and like Mako from Shinkenger, she can't cook worth a damn.
料理はフィーリング。
エリー、これは
あれおかしいな。
あの時の悪夢が。
For the Siak tribe, we have Hyde, portrayed by Kento Ono. Why is there only one Siak tribe member, you ask? Well, quite simple. Goseiger died before the start of the show. This brought in an interesting idea, as that meant there was always going to be a lingering sadness to Hyde's personality, which also helped explain why he was hesitant at first to work together with the other Goseigers. With that in mind, Hyde is the more calm and collected one of the group, wanting to analyze a situation before jumping into it.
少しでも体や環境に優しいものを買うんだ。一通り見たら次に行くぞ。次？よし、ここでは洗剤と入浴剤だけ買って最初の店に戻るぞ。人参と鶏肉は最初のところが一番体に優しくて安い。ブロッコリーは4番目の店、玉ねぎやメークインは5番目だ。
That was ridiculous.
It also helps that he is the oldest member, so the most mature, though this will also cause him to get into conflict with Gosei Yellow, who is the youngest.
だから言っただろう。部活に近づくなって。
ちょっと誰のせいでやられたと思ってんのよ。
少しは聞く耳を持て。こいつは今までの敵とは違う。
それがどうしたっていうのよ。ハイドが声かけなきゃ。
Finally, we have our Landic duo with Kyosuko Hamao's Agri and Mikaho Niwa's Monet. This brother-sister combo were always trained together and didn't feel they needed anyone but each other. As time went on, they learned otherwise. But it is interesting to always see them training together, and then of course, when they get into such petty fights as siblings often do. Monet is a hothead who always likes to do things in her own way, but she also hates it when others do not follow her lead, which will lead her into excessive arguments with other cohorts, especially Hyde and Eri.
じゃあまずは敵をぶっ飛ばしみんなを助け出す。お兄ちゃんたちが心配じゃないの？先手必勝とか言うし、なんとかなるよ。
She also hates being bored.
今はみんなを信じて穏やかに過ごすべきだよ。ああ、もう退屈。
What the hell was that?
On the other hand, Agri will take things way too personally, so if he hears someone doubt him, he takes it to heart. As he does when he blames himself for Ninja White and Ninja Red's daughter being kidnapped.
かなこちゃん一人救えないなんて、俺は個性天使失格だ。
そんなことないって。かなこはもう。
そんなことない。
Well, I mean, they're not playing Ninja White and Ninja Red, but they're the actors who played those two characters. I didn't need to tell you that, did I? I'm pretty sure you figured it out for yourself. Let's just continue. Unfortunately, there's not much beyond these basic traits of the Goseigers. They're pretty basic and one-dimensional. While I won't say they don't have any character growth, because they do, it is quite generic. In fact, I should probably bring up that you're going to be hearing a lot of redundancy in this review, as I will often be repeating the words basic and generic, since that is pretty much what Goseiger is. Basic and generic. Which is a real shame, because the head writer, Michiko Yokote, was the head writer for Gekiranger. So I have no idea what the hell happened between the two series. But I guess she lost her writing talent? I don't know. It doesn't help that she only wrote like maybe 12, 15 episodes of this entire series, which is not a lot for a head writer, especially when you have the dude from Just Beyond that wrote like 40 of the episodes. Anyway, let's continue. For the most part, the Rangers just have guns and an oversized melee-type weapon, as most of their attacks and abilities are utilized through the aforementioned card system.
Tensou!
If they need to transform, they use a card. If they need an attack, they use a card. If they need a weapon, they use a card. If they need to go to the bathroom... Okay, they don't actually show us if they need a card for that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Their cards pretty much summon up a head mech, known as a header, that can attach their guns, giving them additional firepower. They also finish off the monsters by having their cards take growth enhancements when they put their weapons together to form a cannon-like thing. I do like the designs of their outfits, as I feel there is a perfect balance of white and the ranger color. I'm not sure why, but it makes me think of something you would see a Jin wear, and since they are angels, it's close enough. I like it. Their upgrade forms, on the other hand, are kinda lazy. It's just armor that rests over their body with a head sticking out. It's a shame we never actually see the Rangers trying to walk through a door in their super forms, as it would probably provide some hilarious results. One of the biggest negatives I have with the show, though, is that the Rangers will obtain all of these abilities and upgrades without even having to work for them. They will just be in the middle of battle, getting their butts kicked, and suddenly a new card will emerge with the solution needed to win. It's quite annoying. A perfect example is this scene here. Their henshin devices have been damaged. They don't know what to do, but the pseudo 6 Ranger just comes up to them and bam, problem solved. No effort necessary. Right at the beginning of the show, the Rangers befriend a young boy named Nozomu Amachi. This aspect kind of makes me think of Gingaman, as the Rangers there also lost their home, befriended a little boy who helped them find a place to live along with his dad. Here, sure enough, Nozomu and his dad, Shuichiro, invite the Goseigers to live with them at their observatory, though in this case, Shuichiro does not know they are heroes. The Goseigers have a card that is able to wipe everyone's memories clean, because of course they do.
Memory wash card, Tensou!
As such, after every battle, they use this card on everyone. I'm not exactly sure why Nozomu is immune to this effect, he just is. Nozomu falls in love with the Goseigers. No! Not like that, you weirdo. Ew. And seeks their advice whenever life gets him down. His dad, on the other hand, can be an idiot at times, as seen here. Although that could be due to the trauma he received when Alata tried to electrocute him. Another moment of his I did enjoy, though, is when the Goseigers ask what love is, and he retorts with this. This statement then leaves the Goseigers trying to help a lovesick high schooler how to approach his dilemma in the most awesome way possible.
最初はちゃんと距離を取って客観的に相手を見るんだ。
戦いは積極的かつ大胆に行くべきだ。
ってより優しく尽くしてあげた方がいいと思う。こならもじもじしないでドーンとぶつかりな。
Oh boy.
In addition to Nozomu and his dad, there's also a robot companion named Datas that will help the team out. He's designed to look like the Dice-O arcade machine and has his own header that allows him to grow big into a battle mech. Beyond that, he doesn't do much outside of acting as a bridge between the Rangers and the head of Gosei World with the oh-so-original name as Master Head. Nah, that joke's way too inappropriate. Now, the pseudo 6 Ranger I mentioned earlier is named Gosei Knight. Gosei Knight was originally a header that got frozen in ice centuries ago and evolved into being his own person, as it were.
俺たちと共に戦ってほしい。
私は私で戦う。星を守るのは私だ。
Jeez, even the robot 6 Rangers are dicks. With that said, I do like Gosei Knight, as he does start off not caring about anything but saving the Earth. He doesn't even care if humans get caught in the crossfire, as they are not part of his mission. This changes over time, but we get to see him learn and understand why humans are worth saving, so it works. Of course, like most things in the show, Toei didn't really know what to do with him, so he kind of just meanders about most of the time, but it is still an intriguing concept even if the execution falters. I think the best moment though is when one of the villains in the second half of the show tells him this.
あなたの宿命、使命とやらは私たちの目的と相反するものではないの。マトリンティスは地球を汚すつもりはない。私たちの目的は愚かで劣った人類を統率し。
This causes him to reflect on what is truly important, and it is Nozomu that helps him see the error of his ways.
スエナイトは人間のことが嫌いなの？
いや、好きか嫌いかではない。ただ憂慮すべき存在であることは確かだ。
You're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Lastly, he is voiced by Katsuyuki Konishi. You may know Konishi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Diavolo, Kamina, and Garen Lagann, and is the current voice of Captain Ginyu in Dragon Ball.
私はただのヘッダーではない。地球に力を与えられて進化した。
なんだって？
私は1万年前、当時のゴセイジャーと共にユーマ獣と戦っていた。
The villains. As with the Rangers, there are 3 different groups of villains they have to contend with. However, it is the monsters of the week that are truly the highlights of this show, as all their names are based on movie titles. I will go into more detail on those as I get there, but for the most part, the villains of the show pretty much suck. They're easily the most one-dimensional set of villains a Sentai series has had since the 80s. The first group is a race of space insects known as the War Stars. Their leader is Monthtrek, and his second in command is Director. Director, whose name is an anagram for Predator, is the one who destroys the Tower of Heaven, and he has a brief tussle with Gosei Red since it was Alata who confronted him after destroying the tower. That's all there is to these guys as far as character is concerned. Now their monsters are named after alien movies such as Alien, The Thing, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Avatar, and Planet of the Apes. Although I would say that Planet Apes' design should have gone to Close in Third since he looks like a UFO. It would just make more sense with the movie itself. The next group of villains are a bunch of monsters that were once trapped in a jar by a previous group of Goseigers called Uma. Uma? Universal Monster Association? I don't know. They are ruled by a blob-like creature known as McQueen, and his second in command is Ging Kong, despite being a Sasquatch rather than a gorilla. Some of their monsters represent the following. They live, Nightmare on Elm Street, It, The Water Horse, The Twilight Zone. The final villains to emerge is the machine empire known as Matrintis. Matrintis was an ancient civilization that sunk into the ocean, and only one low machine survived, Robogog. I bet you can't figure out where his name came from. Second to Robogog is his assistant and the only female commander of the entire series, Metal Alice, who is based on Metropolis.
天使とやらのやり口も。
As you can probably figure out, all of their monsters of the week are going to be based on movies with machines such as Short Circuit, Stealth, AI, and Back to the Future. They're easily the weakest of the three tribes, and that's saying something considering how bad the War Stars were. The only villain that truly matters is one named Blade Run. Do you think he dreams of electric sheep?
You're not funny anymore.
Blade Run is the only villain who acts as a part of each group, taking on a form that fits each of their themes. And serves the general as a field commander, along with being the one who provides the groups with their grunts known as BBs. And the BBs come equipped with the most annoying sound ever. He is also the one who controls a flock of bat-like creatures that makes the monsters of the week grow. In the long run, Blade Run is kind of a cool villain, at least when compared to the likes of Toku from Shinkenger, though he fails when compared to someone who has massive depth and growth, such as Juzo. Also, if you are a fan of Zeta Gundam, you may recognize Blade Run's voice as Nobuo Tobita is also Camille Bidan.
地球はドレイク様がこれまで攻め落としてこられたあまたの星とは少し様子が違うようでございます。
Oh, and I do like his final form. The Mecha. If you thought the Mecha in Shinkenger and Gekiranger was annoying and bad, you are going to find the Mecha of Goseiger to be head of the game in terribleness. The mecha here is pretty much compiled of just a bunch of heads that attaches to the main body, which is known as Goseiger. At the start, the original 5 headers take their forms from a plane, a fighter jet, a submarine, a bulldozer, and a train to create a dragon, phoenix, shark, saber-toothed tiger, and snake. Then some other headers appear out of the blue and things go wherever. It doesn't make a lot of sense, with the worst being when a group of headers come to life via a crayoned drawing Alata made in one episode.
What?
Those heads attach on the wings of Goseiger or some crap like that. They just keep adding up in the most ridiculous places that doesn't make sense. Good God, is the mecha awful in this show. There's even an ostrich that appears at some point for some reason, and it just sits on the arm and spins around like a fan. No words can comprehend how stupid that looks. Oh, and Datus can also combine with Goseiger. Gosei Knight's mecha is no better with Groundion, Gosei Knight's original form being constructed out of a dump truck, a cruise liner, and a blimp. So a ground lion, a sky lion, and a sea lion. Oh! I get where they're going with it now? Help. Naturally, both Goseiger Plus and Groundion can merge together to form Ground Goseiger. Oh yeah. Toei really paid people to think hard on those names now, didn't they? There's also Gosei Ultimate, which is the last mech they obtain a little way into the second half of the series. I actually kind of like this design, as he is a big ship that transforms into a single bot and doesn't have a million attachments. That, and he is featured in what may be the best mech battle of the entire show, when the villains call out how ridiculous Gosei Ultimate looks when the Rangers fasten Gosei Great to him. Speaking of the mech battles, they are very uninspiring. Pretty much every episode has one, and the vast majority of the mech battles end up resorting to CGI, especially when it is just the individual mecha battling. Mimicking my inner comic book guy, worst mecha thus far, because there are still a lot of series after this. The effects and music. Like everything else, the effects and music are... there? Basic? Generic? I don't know. They exist. We'll go with that. They exist. There's very little I can really praise here. It has the same CGI sparks the last several shows have featured, CGI attacks, and there isn't much out of the ordinary as far as fight choreography is concerned. It's all pretty straightforward. There's only 2 interesting shots I can recall in the entire show. One from a first-person perspective of a machine being activated by Robogog.
Yes, sir.
The other is a fight sequence where the cameraman actually seemed to do some work for a change. A night battle takes place during the final episode, and that is about as far as creativity goes. It's like Toei decided Goseiger could never match up to the levels of Shinkenger in its fight sequences, so their production team put in the most minimalistic effort imaginable. Even the music reflects this, which is kinda strange since composer Kazunori Miyake did a great job with Hurricaneger and Gekiranger. Another person that worked on Gekiranger half-assing it in this show. What was going on in 2010, Toei? Was this just your off year because you were like, well, next year we're doing the anniversary series, so let's just throw some crap together and that's it. That's all we're gonna do. It's not that the music is bad or anything, it's just underwhelming. Though I guess it fits the context of the show itself, since none of the show tried to do anything exciting. There are a couple of tracks I did enjoy, most of which comes into play in the last quarter.
この私の記載ブレインを甘く見るな。それができるビーム砲を私がブレドランに撃たせた。お前たちの相手は俺たちだ。おじゃかし行くよキングコン。おうよ。
As for the opening and closing songs, they're synonym for generic. Synonym for generic. Synonym for generic. Generic. Comprehensive? Project R's opening song is simply titled Tensou Sentai Goseiger. There are 3 versions of Hideyuki Takahashi's ending theme, Gotcha Goseiger, used in the show, with the 3rd version featuring the Goseiger actors singing the 2nd iteration of the song. I've got no real opinion on these tracks because, as I said, everything is just bland. It didn't really make me excited for the show, but it didn't make me go, oh god, I'm watching another episode of Goseiger. Ugh. As for the ending theme, it also is just kind of like, cool, I'm done with the show for right now. Nothing good, nothing bad, just there. The episodes. Given how uninspiringly aggressive the show tries to be with everything, there's not really a whole lot I can discuss about the episodes either. I didn't find myself downright hating any episodes, yet I didn't find myself loving any episodes either. Again, to repeat myself for the 100th time, they just exist. They're there. As such, it makes it hard to really pick a favorite or least favorite. I guess Protect the Land would be my least favorite episode just because it turns Eri into being nothing more than an object. Agri gets ticked off at the old man he tried to help carry groceries for and challenges the dude to a duel. The dude agrees only if Eri is the prize.
そのべっぴんさんをかけてわしと勝負しろ。
なぜそうなる。
っていうか私、景品
Eri agrees, Agri loses, and Eri lets the old man drag her off.
さらばじゃ。おい、ちょっと待って。おい。
Sexual harassment? Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay, carry on then. Agri makes a deal to work on the dude's farm to get Eri back, and stuff happens. A monster attacks, and after the battle, Eri does this.
じゃあ悪いけどみんな、あとよろしく。エリー、どこ行くの？おじいちゃんのところ。だって私は景品だから。
Well, she just set the Me Too movement back a couple centuries, and you know what? I'm done. I've had enough talking about this episode. I'm through. You know how the rest of the episode's going to play out. Everything's going to go well. It's all going to be good. So you know what? Let's talk about what is probably my favorite episode of the series. I guess I would call this one my favorite episode. It's titled Over the Rainbow. In this episode, Warhorse, the Loch Ness Monster, returns to serve McQueen. It turns out Warhorse is the one who trapped Ghostly Knight in ice way back when and wants to finish the job.
私に敗れたはずが生き残っていたと。
敗れた？五星ナイトが？
私はあの時の私とは違う。
What I like about this episode is really how much character development they gave Warhorse, a monster of the week. He has far more development than even the main villains of the show have, which should never be the case, but is.
私が湖にたゆたっていた1万年の間、五星天使どもは全く成長を遂げていない。あの五星ナイトとかいうヘッダーも姿を変えたところで弱さに変わりはない。
Other than that, this one plays out like you would expect, but I do give them credit for making a Monster of the Week really interesting, especially with what has happened in the last several current shows. The movies. Movies? Goseiger has movies? No way! Only 3 movies, fortunately. Set between episodes 22 and 23, the first, being the theatrical film, features some remaining war stars coming to Earth chasing after the Gjallarhorn from Norse mythology so they can bring Ragnarok to Earth. Too late, we already got that 2 years ago. Things occur, Yellow does a mildly inappropriate attack. I get to reuse a joke I haven't done in a few years. Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. And we get our special movie exclusive mecha that also makes an appearance in one episode of the series. Like the series it revolves around, this movie is a thing. Not the alien type thing, but just a thing. The next movie takes place after the events of the series, so I'll keep this brief. The Ghost Sagers revealed themselves to the world.
I am Iron Man.
and end up becoming celebrities. There, they get used in all kinds of ways, such as saving people, selling merchandise, and filming TV shows. There is an actual villain who appears in the last 20 minutes or so, but by that point I had already lost interest in the movie. Last but not least is the yearly team-up versus film. We come to find out that Squidward is still alive after the events of Shinkenger. Blade Run cosplays as Toku, claiming to be a Doshu, and he captures Takeru, giving him one badass looking ranger form.
My homies agree I really look good in black, fool.
Hey, I got a joke for you. What type of website service would Takeru and Alata use if they made a website? Give up? Angel Fire. You hurt my feelings. Anyway, the rest of the Shinkengers finally make an appearance, Takeru is restored to normal, and we get a big battle scene in a new mecha. You can pretty much guess what I'm going to say here. It's what you expect out of a versus movie. There are some good and bad aspects. Again, like last time, this movie did not need to be an hour long as it really drags on. I also don't like how Ryunosuke acts like a jerk towards the Goseigers.
What an asshole!
It just doesn't fit his character. I do like this scene at the airport with Kotaha. God damn, does that sound like something she would say? Though, they really amped up her ditziness in this film. Even Chiaki acts like a dick at times, which makes me wonder if the writing team even watched Shinkenger before they did this movie. And the Goseigers show up, which most definitely, for sure, is not going to be the next series I review for real this time. Overall, Bart and Lisa can pretty much sum up my opinion of Goseiger in one word. Meh. Yeah. That's it, just meh. There's nothing bad, but there's nothing good either. And since I don't deal with half measures, I am going to give Goseiger a simple 3 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. If you are looking for a basic Sentai show, you could do much worse. Nevertheless, if you are new to the franchise, I'd say start at a show that actually had effort put into it. This one's just meh. Nothing good, nothing bad, just meh. Villains are meh. The heroes are meh. The mecha is meh. The episodes are meh. The music is meh. This whole review is meh. Everything's just meh. 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 Until next time, bye. Meh.